Live from the Student Union on campus, this is Gold Mine Live. Your weekly all-access pass inside Charlotte Athletics is brought to you by Ortho Carolina, proud to present the 2017 Charlotte 49ers football season. Bojangles, it's bow time. Your Carolina Ford dealers. Go to yourfordchoice.com and enter the Adventure Ready giveaway to win a 2017 Escape or Fusion from your Carolina Ford dealers. Harris Teeter, where 49ers fans shop for groceries. University Eye Associates. And by Wells Fargo. Charlotte 49er fans, show your pride with a customized Wells Fargo debit card. Stop by your nearest Wells Fargo or visit Wells Fargo Card Design Studio online to learn more. Now, here's your host, the voice of the 49ers, Matt Swerad.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Gold Mine Live, back at the Student Union this week with head coach Mark Price and Jobey Thomas. I'm Matt Swerad. The Niners back on the hardwood tomorrow night. They take on Wake Forest at Halton Arena. And get your tickets by going to charlotte49ers.com or call 704-687-4949. It's the second game of a four-game series with Wake. Played at Wake Forest last year. The series goes back to Winston-Salem next season, then comes back to Charlotte after that. The Niners going into this game coming off a loss against James Madison on Saturday. And, Coach, good to see you this Monday morning. It is going to be a big test tomorrow night. Wake Forest coming in, and they're starting to play better basketball.
They are. They had a 30-point win over Richmond the other day. They're starting to get their feet back under them after a sluggish start to their season. But they're an ACC team. They got ACC talent, and it's a great opportunity for our fans, our players, and really our school to have them come in here and play in our building. So we're really excited about that opportunity, and we need to come out and play well.
We're coming off the game against James Madison, dropped it by 5. You've had some time to look at some tape and also kind of think about that game. What did you take from it?
Well, the biggest thing is, we just didn't get out of the blocks. We spotted them 10 points to start the game. It's tough to do that on the road, and work your way back. We continued to fight. We won the second half. But we just dug ourselves too big a hole early and just had too many breakdowns when we needed to make things happen. So that's something we got to continue to grow from, learn from, watch tape, try to get better and try to make fewer of those mistakes. And really the biggest thing is finding a way to get out of the blocks and get off to a good start on a Tuesday night.
Coach, you switched the lineup up some, starting Jalen McGill, a freshman, to try to find that combination that worked to start the game. As you look at tape, and there have been a few other games this season, you guys have just kind of gotten off to a slow start. Is there any one thing in particular you're kind of emphasizing or seeing that maybe you guys aren't doing early?
No, I think, it's not one thing you can put your finger on. For some reason we've just come out, or teams have come out, hit some shots early, and, so we've got to find a way to make sure when that jump ball happens that we're ready to go that first 4 or 5 minutes of the game. And after that, it seems like we play pretty well, but we've got to get off to a better start tomorrow night.
John Davis got it going a little bit in the second half with 6 for 6 to the free throw line. When you started McGill, was that also to give John a chance to kind of slide over and maybe get a little more freedom?
Yeah, to have another ball handler on the floor as well, to maybe get John off the ball a little bit. He's getting double teamed, a lot of times triple teamed a lot, taking a lot of banging as well. So there was thought process behind that, to have add another ball handler to the floor, and hopefully be able to use John off the ball a little bit as well. But like I said, unfortunately we still got off to a slow start, and we got to remedy that.
Last week, too, before we had the show on Monday, had the Davidson game coming up that next day, and went back home again for Wake Forest tomorrow. But we've had those 2 games since the last show. When you look at both, is there one or two things that you still put from these games that you're happy about to go forward and try to turn the page on certain situations?
Well, I've been happy with the effort. The guys are playing hard. We're getting after it. It's just execution has got to get better on a consistent basis. We'll have stretches where we'll play really well, and then we'll have stretches where we kind of get away from what we want to do offensively and making the other teams play defense, come out, maybe take a quick shot, a forced shot, not make the defense have to work. And we got to continue to remedy that and to play longer stretches when we're playing the way that we want to play.
Also, it seems like a couple of guys are trying to get going. And Andrien White had a good first half the other night. He'll be our guest coming up a little bit later on the show today. But, again, got a little bit of foul trouble in the second half. Austin Ojukwu just seems to keep finding himself in that situation where he can't kind of get to a flow during the game. And those are two guys that we know when they're playing at their high level, they're so big to this team. Yeah,
no question. I mean, they're two guys that are a big part of what we want to do every night. And, particularly the last couple of games, they've, struggled with foul trouble, and have found themselves, on the bench, which doesn't help us out on the floor. So, we have to find ways to defend without fouling, make our game plan. We want to be aggressive, but we have to be smart and continue to grow and try not to get those guys in foul trouble.
Now, one player that certainly has played awfully well so far, that's Hudson Price. And again, the other night, Hudson had a fantastic night, career-high 24 points. But it's not just the scoring. He's doing a lot of things that's helped this team.
Well, Hudson's just, he's a guy that's going to be in the right spots. He's going to do the right things defensively and offensively. And the other night he had opportunity to get, open looks the way they were double teaming and triple teaming John. And he was able to knock some of those down. And right now also he's our leading rebounder. So he's throwing his body around. He's doing everything he can to try to help us win basketball games, and hopefully he can continue to play at that level.
Looks a little quicker this year, too. And we go back to the knee surgeries he's had before the season last year. That had to have been a factor.
Yeah, no question. He was battling through it last year and doing all he could, but, he wasn't 100% healthy. And this year he really got himself in the best shape that I've really seen him in a long time, and I guess I get to see him more than anybody else being his dad, but because all last year it was my knees are bothering me, whatever, and I haven't really heard that from him much this year. So, that in itself lets me know that he's feeling better, and he does a good job of getting with Adam Jordan and Derek and keeping himself healthy, stretching, treatments, whatever he needs to do to try to stay healthy, and that's what you have to do.
I mentioned it before. I think the mental side is so important as well. We know he, was bogged down with school last year, which can really take a toll on you. And, no cupcake now with grad school, but at the same time, my conversations with him seem like the load is much lighter and maybe an opportunity just to focus a little more on basketball this season as well.
Yeah, I think he, it's a little bit different schedule for him. He has all night classes now, being in grad school. So, he doesn't have the classes during the day, and he's able to get his treatment, the stuff that he needs to do to take care of his body. And I think that schedule's been helpful to him this year, although, the grad classes are no joke. And he told me this next 10 days is going to be, his finals are coming up and everything else is going to be a little more rough on the studying and the preparation. But he does a pretty good job of managing that time, and so far it's working for him.
Yeah, for fans that don't know, this is the last week before exams. That our next week we won't play after Sunday until the following weekend. And on Sunday we are at Chattanooga. It's a 1 o'clock tip at the Roundhouse in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And after that, Coach, it's the first of 6 consecutive road games. But it's also that time of year where classes are over and you guys can kind of go back in the gym a little bit more. And it's almost like going back to the preseason a little bit, and you get to play on the road.
Yeah, it's a time where we'll be able to get, like you said, in the gym more practice time. Guys won't have classes over the break, and so we can really spend some good practice sessions trying to clean things up, correct some things, maybe add some things, look at some things we can do better. As coaches, we really look forward to those times. The players, I don't know so much when we have longer practices and all that stuff. But, as a coaching staff, it allows us time to really kind of dig in and try to fix some things that need to be fixed and to help grow the areas that are doing well.
I still remember your first season here, the Appalachian State game on the road. You guys struggled, and it was right before the break, and you guys really had an opportunity to practice, and I feel like it transformed your entire season from that point moving forward. You played much, much better basketball the rest of the season.
Yeah, just, at this time of the year, it's a grind, and we've had some tough games right here, but the great thing about basketball is, sometimes it just takes one good win, to lead to the next thing and get some momentum going, and that can change quickly. So, tomorrow night is going to be a great opportunity. Like I said, for us, it could be a game that going in, we have a chance to play an ACC team in our backyard and really go out there, try to show them what Charlotte basketball is all about, and gain some momentum and start moving this thing in the right direction.
Not to make any excuses, but so many new pieces with this team this year, and they're still trying to find where everybody fits in game situations. Practice is one thing; they play hard in practice, but executing the game is different. You feel like you're still kind of finding your way right there.
Yeah, a little bit. When you have 5, young guys, and all of them have gotten playing time for us, and mixing the veteran guys with the young guys and getting everybody comfortable with one another and playing. That takes a little bit of time, and we're going to get better at that and grow, and still working, finding exactly tweaking that rotation to see what's going to work best for us moving forward. Is like I said, we after the Wake Forest game, we're coming up on three more road games out of conference, and then we jump right in to conference play. So it's right around the corner. We've got to continue to grow, continue to get better, and start playing our best basketball here coming up shortly.
A lot of new faces, as we mentioned, and one that maybe is a little bit of a surprise what he's been able to do for you so far in the young season. That's Ryan Murphy. You saw a lot of time on the floor in the second half the other night. You knew he was a pretty good shooter, put a lot of work in during his redshirt year last year shooting, but he's also brought a little toughness out there for you too.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan's done a great job. He was a guy, honestly, when we started the season, we didn't know exactly, where he was going to fit with our rotation. We have a lot of players, at those positions. But I mean, he shows up every day. It doesn't matter if he's on the scout team, second team practicing. I mean, he just plays hard. I mean, he's lit us up in practice, quite a bit. And so he's basically earned the right to be out on the floor. And he's a guy that can make shots, and he's a smart player. And defensively, he's got to continue to grow and get better, as do all of our players. And so, he's been a real pleasant surprise.
Coach, I want to give you a break. I'm going to take a timeout right now and bring up Andrien White, who's a junior from Richmond and a big part of this basketball team. He's going to be our guest coming up next as we continue with Gold Mine Live here from the Student Union today on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
The Ford year-end sales event is in full swing.
Hey, Santa Claus is coming.
'Tis the season.
No, that's him in my blind spot.
He is rocking that scooter.
With a sidecar.
Doesn't need reindeer, baby.
Making the holidays happen. That's Ford, America's best-selling brand. Now during the Ford year-end sales event, get 0 for 72 plus 1,000 cash back on a 2017 F-150. See your Carolina Ford dealer today.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Hotel. Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Welcome back to Gold Mine Live, and here at the Student Union today, joined now by Niner forward Andrien White, guard/forward Andrien White from Richmond, Virginia. And Andrien, good to see you on this Monday. Hope you're doing well.
Everything's going well. Appreciate y'all having me.
How you doing this season? It's been a little bit of a slow start for you guys, but I know you're trying to kind of get in the groove a little bit as well.
Yeah, we're all just trying to work hard and trying to get this season off to, a little bit better of a start. Yeah, like you said, it was a little bit slow, but we're in the gym every day, and we're trying to get better. So,
let's talk about last week's game against Davidson. You had a real nice night with 22, going 12 of 13 to the free throw line and making some plays to help the team. What's it? It's been 3 years now that you've had that matchup, the battle for bragging rights here in town, and I know you're already kind of looking forward maybe next year trying to get it back at their place. But talk about your effort that night and also the game against James Madison on Saturday.
I think we battled a lot better early in that game. We still got off to a pretty slow start that game as well. But James Madison, we got off to a very slow start. I think we may have been 12-0 before we even got on the board. So I think, just like I said, we just got to get better at coming out of the gate, throwing some swings first and not having to take so many at the beginning of the game.
Being from Richmond, still not that far, 4.5 hours or so from Charlotte. Your parents are always at Halton Arena. Family also made the trip over to Harrisonburg, Virginia. As a player, that's going to be great to know you always have that kind of support in the crowd.
Yeah, that support is great. They've been here for me, since the beginning, since I was young and at every game. So it's great to still see them traveling, about 4 hours from Virginia here. So it's always good seeing them in the stands and having their support as well.
Hey, Dub, you've kind of had some games where you've been in some foul trouble, and I know you're not going to cast any blame. And the way the officiating, we have seen some games, a lot of fouls have been called, but naturally you're an aggressive player in the passing lane. Is there one thing in particular maybe that you've seen that has kept you in foul trouble, or is it more just the way each game has been played and officiated?
Yeah, this year I've actually been working on it a little bit more. I've been getting early charges, coming in and not coming to a 2-foot stop and keeping going. So a lot of guys have been scouting that, and they've been, that's the scouting report for me. And when I drive, they load up and try to take charges. So I just got to come to a 2-foot stop and just kick it to my teammates and make them guys better.
Well, we know you're a great shooter, obviously freshman 3-point record, and you continue to shoot well this year, almost 40% from behind the arc. But it looks like that you've really grown your mid-range game and so forth. Early on in your career, it seemed like all threes or maybe all the way to the basket. Talk about just the development and growth of your mid-range game.
Yeah, that's one thing I put into this off season, was trying to get my overall game better, and not being able to drive and do other things when shots might not be falling early in the game. So yeah, just working all together on everything, and trying to get my teammates involved as well, and the mid-range and the drive. So that's the stuff that I've been working on this off season, so I'm glad to see it paying off.
So you're a junior now, and one of the upperclassmen leaders on this team, had an opportunity to play a lot of minutes. Going forward, still a long season. What do you hope to kind of emphasize personally and focus on, continue to grow to finish strong this season?
Just trying to get our guys just to stay intense and lock in on the defensive end. And it's a long season, and we got a lot of basketball to play, so just trying to keep those guys motivated, the young guys motivated, and, just try to grind these wins out day at a time.
A lot more depth in this team, too. Other options in terms of, you guys sometimes had to go out there for 30, 35 minutes, and now you can get a little harder for shorter periods and get some rest. Guys come in and help you out.
Yeah. It's definitely having to go and play 30 minutes, like you said, a lot last year and the year before, really took a toll on myself, John, Austin's body. So having these young guys that come in and help us out, helping us out in practice, and, taking some of that toll off of our bodies has really, really helped out a lot.
You got to tell us, you had the injury before the season last year, playing in the summer when you had that tour over to Canada. And you were healthy to start the season, but it didn't seem like you were 100% healthy. How much did that affect you last year?
I don't make any excuses for how I played last year, but I came back the week before. We played on Friday. I was in full practice, that Monday before, and so yeah, it was definitely different. That was my first injury, first time having surgery, so it definitely was a different vibe for me coming in. But eventually, towards the end of the season, I was glad to be able to pick it up and transition into this season.
Coming in 100% healthy, a little different way, can put more emphasis on the off-season workouts and things like that.
Yeah, the off-season workouts were good. Last year, I worked out all summer and then broke my foot and had to sit for about 3 months or so. So that definitely helped me out this year. And when I came into this year, I was healthy, ready, and prepared for this year. So,
basketball family. Your brother played at Kansas. He also played at Syracuse. Now he's in the D League. Talk about your connection and he's a step away from getting into the NBA.
Yeah, he's been doing well over there in the D League. He's with Maine Red Claws, and so he still gives me encouragement and motivation and inspiring words every day to keep going, keep guys motivated. So it's been great following this path and actually breaking away and kind of creating my own name from him. So he's been happy for me, and I appreciate him and everybody in my family. So.
Niner forward guard Andrien White's been our guest here today. Before we let you go, you got exams coming up next week. It's a tough part of the year for student athletes. You got, of course, the games, big game against Wake tomorrow, but you're also focusing on the academics as well.
You just got to find a way to get it all done and succeed. So.
Got those road games coming up too. It's kind of fun, I think, as a basketball player when you got that break between Christmas and the new year when classes start again, we could just kind of focus on basketball, right?
Yeah, during the Christmas time, it's almost like you're in the NBA. You wake up, you eat, and then you go to practice, then you come back home, you sleep. You don't got to worry about going to class or anything. But, we're excited for that. We're excited for the break, and, we're going to work hard during the break and get ready for the conference coming up in the new year.
When you're not at in the gym or working out or in class, what are some of the things you like to do?
Just rest, pretty much. Play a little video games, and that's about it.
You had to be working on those dance moves that we saw.
Oh yeah,
at the Charlotte Basketball Madness to start the season. Seen a few videos floating around, social media and so forth.
Right.
So it looks like you spend a little time dancing in your spare time.
Yeah, a little bit of strolling with my fraternity Kappa Alpha Psi. So that's been great. So that was a fun night.
Talk about the matchup tomorrow with Wake Forest, and a team that certainly is playing better right now. So you guys have to come out there and have a good one.
It's going to be definitely going to be a good game. Probably one of the biggest games since probably that Miami game a few years ago. So we're expecting a great crowd. It's a great opportunity for us, and we're looking forward to an ACC school coming in here and trying to give them our best shot. So
looking forward to it tomorrow night. Have a great game, and good luck the rest of the season, Andrien.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Andrien White's been joining us here today. We'll take a timeout, come back with more with Goldmine Live here from the Student Union on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
The Ford year-end sales event is in full swing.
Hey, Santa Claus is coming.
'Tis the season.
No, that's him in my blind spot.
He is rocking that scooter.
With a sidecar.
Doesn't need reindeer, baby.
Making the holidays happen. That's Ford, America's best-selling brand. Now during the Ford year-end sales event, get 0 for 72 plus 1,000 cash back on a 2017 F-150. See your Carolina Ford dealer today.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
The Student Athlete of the Week, sponsored by Ortho Carolina, the official team physician of your Charlotte 49ers. This week's Ortho Carolina Student Athlete of the Week is Dara Pearson. Pearson is a redshirt sophomore forward on the women's basketball team from Hampton, Virginia. She has started in all but one game for the 49ers this season and is averaging a team-high 7.6 rebounds per game. The team relies on her for her rebounding and rim protection to bolster the defense. Away from the court, she is majoring in economics with a minor in American Studies. Dara Pearson, the Ortho Carolina Student Athlete of the Week. This has been the Ortho Carolina Student Athlete of the Week, brought to you by Ortho Carolina, the official team physician of your Charlotte 49ers.
Welcome back to Goldmine Live, and back here at the Student Union. Jobey, Thomas, Matt Swarad, and joined now by Ivo Simovic in his first season as assistant coach on this Niner basketball staff. And good to see you. Welcome to Charlotte.
Thank you.
And you were in Hartford last couple of years. The one thing, I guess, for you anyway, must have been great this weekend. It's the first week of December. It is 65 degrees outside. A long way from Hartford.
Oh, yeah. That's we're enjoying our time here in Charlotte, and definitely after moving from Connecticut here, it's a different environment, and my kids and my family, and we're enjoying here.
Talk about being part of this staff and this team, a young team, but some young talent on this team.
Yeah, I agree with you. So we're a young team. We have a lot of really talented players, which is mean a lot of work for coaching staff from a development standpoint. So I think that probably number one priority for us as a coaching staff is develop all those young guys and get as much as we can in the future from them.
Of course, a lot of time spent in Europe before you came to the States, but you look at your time over here, spent some time with the Spurs, Coach Pop, and all the success they had. What was that experience like?
Yeah, that was great experience for me. Obviously, Spurs organization is one of the probably number one organization in NBA, and I was surrounded by great coaches, great people over there, and that was first of all a great learning experience for me. And I really enjoyed those 3 or 4, almost 4 years with the Spurs, and I have a lot of friends there, and probably end of the year I can go to visit.
What are some of the things you did learn over there while you spent those times with the Spurs?
First thing that I learned is that selection in what we are doing is everything. So when I said selection of people, selection of management, selection of players, and I think that's the best quality and best and biggest difference between Spurs and other organizations. So they're like, obviously, like I said before, number one organization, but they're number one organization because they have great people inside the organization. So they have their own rules. They know what they're doing, why they're doing everything. So, and they're obviously there for a long time. If you know our Coach Popovich and R.C. Buford and all those guys over there, they're more than 20 years part of organization. So they had enough time to build what they think they need to build.
Coach, you come from a small country, Serbia, but a very proud basketball country. A lot of great players, coaches. Myself, having played in Europe for a number of years, played for some Serbian coaches, played with a number of Serbian guys. Just talk about maybe your start, even growing up, and how you got into basketball and the coaching in general.
Yeah, that's true. I'm coming from small country, but big basketball tradition. And as you know as well, a lot of great players and a lot of great coaches from that part of Europe, and everyone play basketball in my country. So I think that basketball is number one sport there, and usually in other countries in Europe, soccer is most popular sport, but in Serbia that's not the case. I think basketball is number one sport, and we are really proud because of that. So as a young kid, obviously I started to play basketball when I was like 10, 11 years old, and I played my high school, and after high school 1 year professional, and after that I decided as well to start with the coaching. So I was really young.
We talked about your NBA experience now at the collegiate level, but you also were in Spain for a number of years, coaching professionally there. So a unique blend of European professional, NBA, college. Just talk about what you've learned and maybe some of the best experiences from being in Europe and coaching in Spain.
Yeah, I can do that comparison between professional basketball and college basketball. There are a lot of similarities, but there are some different things. I like to say, when somebody asks me what is the difference, I said pros, they're making shots, so that's the biggest difference. The pro players, they're making shots, and if I can tell that, it's a little bit easier to work with the pros because they already know what they need to do, and you need to handle some different kind of things. But here I think it's a great challenge for us as a coaching staff. As you said before, we have a great group of talented kids, and we have opportunity to develop those young players, and that's the beauty of what we're doing.
What do you think your strengths are? All these experiences, been around the game a long time. What does Coach Simovic bring to the table for the Charlotte 49ers?
Yeah, I'm not trying to be like some kind of revolutionary, because Coach Price and rest of the staff, they already know what they're doing, and they're doing great. They did the great stuff before I came in. I'm just trying to be like piece and part of the staff, and bring something maybe a little bit different from international level. And maybe if you ask me one thing, I can add like player development as a biggest trend of mine.
Jobey's talked so much about the time he's played over in Europe. What are some of the differences, the European game compared to the game here in the States?
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of differences. The rules are a little bit different comparing with the college basketball. The offense is shorter. It's not like 30 seconds. We play quarters. Here we have a first and second half. So the game as a game is more or less similar, except that you have, when you're working with the pros, everything look a little bit better and easier. And more or less, basketball is basketball. You need to score, you need to defend, you need to run, you need to be in stance, you need to execute, and more or less is similar.
No blood, no foul in Europe, unless you're an American, they like to hit you with the fouls, but we'll leave that aside. But I think the game in Europe, one of the things that I learned really is just, the toughness and the team concept. So there's quite a contrast between an American NBA basketball game, even a collegiate game, and a EuroLeague game.
Yeah, that's true. Like when you said team basketball, European players they're got used to play together more than here. Here is more isolation, more one-on-one, more individual basketball, and in Europe, maybe the players they're a little bit more patient and a little bit more disciplined. That's the only difference. And as well, you play there, you cannot just shoot a 3-point shot in a fast break. There is like almost they're gonna put you in a jail if you do that. So you cannot do that type of stuff. So you need to respect offense, you need to run offense, you need to execute and read all those defensive changes that opponent doing. So that's probably biggest difference.
The success you had over in Europe, what drew you to come and want to coach in the States?
Yeah, that's interesting. So when I moved in Spain, first I didn't think about move to Spain from Serbia. I was in Red Star, which is one really good European team, EuroLeague team in Europe, and I worked with the best prospects in Europe. And when I got offered from Spain, I was like, why not? Let's move to Spain. So I said to my wife, maybe we can go there and learn some Spanish. So if I got fired after first year, we're gonna learn Spanish. So that was the first reason why we moved to Spain. And we did like almost 11 years in Spain. My both kids, they're born there, and that was unbelievable and really nice experience.
The different leagues too in Europe, it's definitely there's some comparisons, but you talked about the leagues he's played when he was in Italy, how the play was a little bit better than certain other places. What was it like in Spain? Yeah,
the Spanish style of basketball is a little bit different than Italian. Italian in most half-court offense, they're running sets and all that stuff. In Spain is more running. It's more running. If you watch also their national team, that's a style how they play. They have, I think, Spanish guards are really good. They have great shooters. And I think right now the Spain as a country probably is the number one basketball country. I cannot tell that probably because they're gonna kill me in Serbia because of that. But I think that Spain right now is the number one basketball country in Europe.
Well, when you look top to bottom, I think that's a very fair assessment. A lot of great teams and great countries, individual teams, but the Spanish league is certainly top to bottom one of the strongest, if not the strongest league in Europe.
Yeah, I agree. They have a great system there. Like they're producing a lot of players every year. They have as you know as well, they have a first division ACB, and then they have all those development leagues where all young talented players they're playing there. So that's a great opportunity. In Europe, there is no college basketball, so you're finishing high school, you're gonna be pro, or you're done with the basketball. So all those young guys, they have great opportunity to play high level in Spain and get coached by really good coaches. And I think that's a really good formula to create and develop players in Spain.
Well, being with the Niners now, of course, we have two freshmen from Serbia, Luka Vasic and Milo Supic. Tell us about them and what you like about each player and two really good-looking young players.
Yeah, I agree. Both of them, they're really talented. First of all, I'm happy having them here and to have opportunity sometime to speak our language. I know that it's hard for all of us to speak English when we're together, but also we're trying to respect everyone else around us. But when we're by ourselves, we speak Serbian. We can exchange opinions, and I think that they're lucky to have me here also because I can help them. So I can help them definitely with a lot of things, especially and basketball stuff. And also with adaptation to different lifestyle and everything what is changing country. I mean, Jobey, you know how's that? That's not easy when you change country and you just if you have somebody to help, everything look easier.
Absolutely. Overseas Americans usually had one or two American teammates, and you kind of stick together, and you learn and you try to adapt to the culture around you. But it's nice to have a little bit of a home influence and be able to speak your own language, especially when times are difficult and when you're trying to make an adjustment to a new place.
Definitely, I agree.
From the outside, it looks like they're both doing well, though.
Oh yeah, they're doing really good. They're great young guys. They're working hard. I think they have a great future here. They love the way how we are coaching them, and I think they're gonna have opportunity to be leaders in the future. So both of them they're very talented and great kids. They're great on the floor and off the floor as well.
Ivo, thanks so much for joining us here tonight. We got practice coming up a little bit, so we're going to let you go. But really happy to have you part of the program, and good luck tomorrow night.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ivo Simovic joining us on the show, Niner assistant coach, first year with the program. We'll come back and have more with Coach Price for the rest of the show. Right after these messages, this is the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
The Ford year-end sales event is in full swing.
Hey, Santa Claus is coming.
'Tis the season.
No, that's him in my blind spot.
He is rocking that scooter.
With a sidecar.
Doesn't need reindeer, baby.
Making the holidays happen. That's Ford, America's best-selling brand. Now during the Ford year-end sales event, get 0 for 72 plus 1,000 cash back on a 2017 F-150. See your Carolina Ford dealer today.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Hotel! Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Welcome back to Gold Mine Live. We're joined again by head coach Mark Price, talking Niner basketball coming up tomorrow night. It's going to be Charlotte and Wake Forest at Halton Arena. Game time is 7 o'clock. Our pregame coverage on the network starts at 6:30. Well, Coach, we just spent some time talking to Coach Ivo Simovic, who's in his first year in your staff now, and last couple years at Hartford. But talk about him a little bit and what he brings to your coaching staff.
Well, we're really excited to have Ivo on board with this. I was introduced to Ivo this summer when we made a coaching change, and just his ability to recruit. I felt like there were some areas we needed to expand our recruiting base. Look at more international players, see what opportunities are there. He obviously has a lot of connections over there, and then from a player development standpoint, he's been a head coach before. He's done a lot, been in programs where player development's really important, and I felt like that was something we needed to add to our staff as well. So, he's done a great job for us in the short time that he's been here, and I know he'll continue to do a great job.
It's interesting you mentioned the overseas recruiting, too, and there's been some programs that have had a lot of success going that route, places like Gonzaga, St. Mary's, even Davidson up the road. And we have the two players this year, and Luka Vasic and Milo Supica, certainly guys that are going to help this program as they play out their 4 years here. Yeah, we're really excited about both of those young men, and hopefully, we can add more pieces down the road. But, I think both of those guys are going to be really good players for us. They've already, given nice contributions even early in the season for us. They come out, they play hard. They're very coachable. And like Ivo said, I mean they're great in the classroom as well, and they're about doing the right things and being part of a team. So really happy to have those guys and looking forward to their continued development here at Charlotte. How similar are they? I mean, they're both bigger guys, 6'8", 6'9", but talk about their games a little bit. A little similar, but also some differences. Well, they're similar in height, but they're definitely two different players. Milos is definitely more of an inside guy right now. Just has a knack for catching the ball and finishing around the rim. He has really good feet, really great hands around the basket. Really. He's been a nice surprise. We thought he was going to be good. We didn't know he'd be this good this early, and so as his development continues to grow, we think he could be really good. 4 or 5 man for us, and then down the road, as his shot continues to improve,
from outside. But Luka, on the other hand, is more of a perimeter player. Even though he's 6'8", he's got really good feet. He's got great arm span, and his ability. He can shoot the ball, make a three. Continuing to grow and playing out of ball screens and things like that's an area he's got to continue to improve. Just learning our offense, there's a lot of movement, particularly at the guard positions and spacing and knowing where you're supposed to be on the floor. But he's a smart young man, and he picks things up quickly. And I know he's just going to get better and better as the season progresses.
It's been a small sample, but we've also seen those guys working well together. Great passing for their size with other big guys on our team. Yeah,
they just come out of that kind of Serbian culture where they develop guys. They just they're basketball players. They pass, they dribble, they shoot. They know how to play. And they pick up things quickly. So, Luka, shown several times his ability to pass the ball, over the course of the first part of the season here. He sees things. He knows what's supposed to happen out there. And like I said, I think he's got a really, really big upside.
Do you feel right now Milos is still kind of getting his legs under him after having mono and just trying to get all the way back? Yeah, it's most people don't even realize that. We didn't know if he'd even start the season, because he got mono, and then he came out in Methodist game and kind of lit it up, and yet he's still that conditioning and your health and your body, and so he's a little up and down that way right now, but he's a guy that's we're looking for big contributions as we move along this season. Still got a couple breaks to take, so we'll take one right now and come back with more with Coach Price in a moment. Wake Forest tomorrow night. Again, get your tickets by going to charlotte49ers.com. We're back on the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
The Ford year-end sales event is in full swing.
Hey, Santa Claus is coming.
'Tis the season.
No, that's him in my blind spot.
He is rocking that scooter.
With a sidecar.
Doesn't need reindeer, baby.
Making the holidays happen. That's Ford, America's best-selling brand. Now during the Ford year-end sales event, get 0 for 72 plus 1,000 cash back on a 2017 F-150. See your Carolina Ford dealer today.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift, we've got you. Guitar, coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Hotel. Guitar, reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party, relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Welcome back to Gold Mine Live. Matt Swarrow with Jobey Thomas and Coach Mark Price. The Niners basketball team back in action tomorrow night, taking on Wake Forest. It's the last chance you get to see the Niners at home until 2018. They'll be back at home second week of January. They'll take on Marshall on the 11th of January. So the conference season is just around the corner. Of course, we open up at Old Dominion right after Christmas, going into the new year at ODU for the first conference game of the season. So a lot coming up on the road, but first Wake Forest tomorrow night. And Coach, let's talk about some of the guys that are playing well in the young season. One of them is sophomore Najee Garvin. Put a lot of work in the gym in the offseason, and his game keeps getting better. Yeah, Najee's, he's our energy guy. He's a guy that's probably our most vocal guy on the court. He's always talking. He's continued to grow. He's developed. We talked about him adding more of a jump shot this year, and he's been much better, from 15, 18 feet, added that. But just his energy level, he's that guy that, right now, we've played him in different situations. He's coming in off the bench, but he's that guy that just kind of gives, you want coming in, bringing some fire and energy to the team, and he does that on a nightly basis. With his length, too, he can be really disruptive on the defensive side of the ball as well. He's active. He can guard, 5s and 4s. We're trying to get, to where he's playing more 4, at times and not have to always be matched up with a 5 guy. But, he never complains no matter where you play him. He's just one of those guys that wants to be out there helping and trying to help us win games. Pretty good teammate, really coachable, too. Oh, yeah, no question. I mean, Najee's one of those guys. He's about team, and, he really wants to win. He's passionate about his teammates and us playing well. And the thing I like about him, he's not afraid to get on them, I mean, sometimes guys like each other, and it's good that they like each other, but then they aren't willing to hold each other accountable. And Najee's never had that problem. The guy's not doing something, he'll tell them about it.
That's good to have those vocal leaders and a guy who's, an underclassman. It certainly helps raise kind of the level of play for everyone. But you mentioned, naturally Najee is more of a 4. You have played him at 5 some, and, trying to get Jalen Haslam worked in to the lineup. But we saw in the past couple of seasons you've had to play small. Is that something maybe you consider as you continue to kind of tinker with the lineup, playing him at the 5, maybe a little more with Hudson or something, just to give a different look to teams?
Yeah, no question. I mean, I do like to play small when we have those opportunities, and it's nice that we got some more size inside with Big Jalen and Milos now, and even a guy, Bryant Thomas, who we're really high on, who hasn't gotten a lot of minutes lately, but we think is going to be a really, really good player. And so when you have some size, you got some guys to throw in against it. But when other teams are a little bit smaller, it's a situation where Najee can play some 5, and we can kind of play with 5 more skilled guys out on the floor at one time.
You mentioned Brian Thomas is difficult. You've got already 3 or 4 guys at that position. Tried to work guys in, but not easy to do. You don't want that to take away from what some other guys are doing in their development, but how do you try to fit a guy like that in and give him some minutes?
Yeah, I mean, I think over the next 3 or 4 games, as we're trying to prepare and go into conference play, I'm gonna look for opportunities to get him in the game, get him some minutes, just because I just think he's a guy that gives us something a little bit different. He's a unique kind of player. He's just got, probably over 7 foot wingspan. He can really block shots. We don't really have a rim protector like that. He's very active, and even though he's thin right now, I think that was the thing that surprised me, is how competitive. He bangs against Big Jalen every day in practice and doesn't complain and takes it. I know he's got his nose popped a few times, and he just keeps sticking his head back in there. And so, he's a guy that I just think is going to be a really, really good player for us, and we've got to try to figure out, like you said, sometimes it becomes a numbers game, and you're trying to get guys grooving and going like that. But we're looking for opportunities to give him a chance to play.
One player who's been a nice stabilizing force on the floor for you right now, we talked about him earlier, is Hudson Price, the graduate senior, and really has been invaluable the way the season's kind of played out for you right now, to have that kind of guy that's every night kind of giving you very consistent effort.
Well, it's and obviously it's a bonus when Hudson has a big scoring night, but because he's not a guy that you look at shots taken, he's down there on the list of guys on our team. He's not a guy that's every night you're gonna line up the stat sheet, but he's just one of those guys that he's a glue guy for us. He's a guy that everybody is comfortable with when they're out there on the floor. Everybody knows Hudson's going to be there in the right place. We just play better when Hudson's on the floor, and that's a big compliment to him. He's leading us in rebounding right now. He's working offensively, and he's playing a lot of minutes right now. So he's doing it at both ends of the floor, and that's something that we really need right now.
He doesn't have to take a lot of them, but the threes that he's taken, he's in a high percentage. The other night he made 2 big ones in the comeback against James Madison. That just opens things up because guys, they can't sag off them.
Well, and that's why I like, stretch 4s, as we move forward with our program. And Hudson right now is really our only stretch 4 that we have. And when you have a guy that can stretch the floor, one, it opens things up more for John Davis to penetrate and do the things he does. It spaces the floor. It puts more pressure on the defense in their closeouts and things like that. So, when he's at the 4, it causes more problems, I think, for the other team defensively.
Let's take our last break, come back. We'll have a quick word about the Wake Forest game and look at some keys to a Niner win tomorrow night against the Demon Deacons right after this in the Charlotte IMG Sports Network.
The Ford year-end sales event is in full swing.
Hey, Santa Claus is coming.
'Tis the season.
No, that's him in my blind spot.
He is rocking that scooter.
With a sidecar.
Doesn't need reindeer, baby.
Making the holidays happen. That's Ford, America's best-selling brand. Now during the Ford year-end sales event, get 0 for 72 plus 1,000 cash back on a 2017 F-150. See your Carolina Ford dealer today.
Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift? We've got you. Guitar? Coming tomorrow. Road game today, surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Hotel! Guitar. Reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party. Relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Welcome back to Gold Mine Live. Just a few minutes left of the show this week. The Niners taking on Wake Forest tomorrow night at home, and then on Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock, a 12:30 pregame show. You can catch the Niners on the network playing at Chattanooga, and that's going to be our last game before exams, and won't play again until the final week. Let's talk a little bit, though, Coach, about Wake Forest tomorrow night, what the Demon Deacons will bring to the table. They're playing better. Just came off a huge blowout win against Richmond this weekend, 82-53, and starting to click a little bit, got off the slow start, lost some pieces from last year, but now the guys have really started to come together a little bit.
Yeah, they've been playing much better, like you said, the last 2-3 games. They've had some guys emerge for them. Obviously, Bryant Crawford, Keyshawn Woods do a great job at the guard spots for them, but the big kid, emergence of Darrell Moore, he's been playing much better. He's a load. He's over 7 feet tall. He's a big body in there, and he's shooting 84% from the field this year. I think most of them are dunks, around the rim. But if he's around the basket, he's going to dunk it. He's a huge body, and obviously he's a big presence. So we're going to have to find a way to deal with him. They have a lot of good guards. The new freshman Shondy Brown. You got Brandon Childress and also Wilbekin as well. So they bring a strong a guard core here. The big guy inside, and it'll be a good test for our team, but one that I'm excited about. I think our players will be excited about it. Chance to get an ACC team in your own building. Hopefully the students will come out, will be excited. People will be, it's probably one of the biggest games, bigger teams to come into Halton Arena in quite a while. So, it'll be a great opportunity for us, like I said, to go out, look forward to trying to show them Charlotte basketball, and hopefully we can go out and compete and give ourselves a chance to win.
Coach, obviously to win, you're going to have to defend, the great guards, but you mentioned the emergence of their front court players. But what are some other really important keys that stick out as points of emphasis if you want to get away with a win?
Yeah, they're a really good three-point shooting team. They're shooting 40% as a team. They have a lot of guards that can shoot the three, so we're going to have to defend the three-point line. And then, a challenge for us, which we've done a better job for the most part this year, is battling on the boards. We can't let them get second, third chance opportunities. We got to put bodies, have 5 guys rebound the ball, and then try to get out and get some easy baskets if we can, and not just make it a half-court game.
Sounds, obvious, too. Just try the first 4 or 5 minutes, get up to a good start, not fall behind and have to play from behind.
Yeah, it'd be nice to play from ahead. I told our guys, let's try that. Let's try that one. One time and see how we do. It'd be fun to try. So hopefully we can get off to a good start on Tuesday night and make an exciting game.
Coach, thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
All right, guys.
Head coach Mark Price joining us, Gold Mine Live. Thanks so much for joining us here today. And tomorrow night, game time, 7 o'clock, Niners and Wake Forest from Halton Arena. So long, everybody.